Hi everyone, this is Brittany here from Just Be Crafty. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little puff stitch flower granny square. This tiny little granny square measures in at a whopping 2.5 inches on all sides. The hallmark of today's square is the puff stitch petals of the central flower that gives these little squares a fun 3D effect. I can't wait to share how to make these with you. As always, you can find the written instructions on my blog to go along with this tutorial. If you find yourself stumbled while making this square, be sure to follow along with the written pattern as you watch the tutorial. And feel free to pause, rewind as you need to during this video. All the terms in today's tutorial are in US terms, and while this pattern is beginner friendly, it assumes you already know the following skills: magic ring, chaining, half double crochet, and double crochet. Once you have all those skills under your belt, I'm confident you can tackle today's pattern. So now, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. To make these squares, you will need worsted weight acrylic yarn in 2 of your favorite colors, a 4mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, and I like this angled tip kind, and scissors. We're going to start with the magic ring. If you don't know how to make the magic ring or you just need a refresher, I made a complete tutorial on how to do it, so I'll have that linked below and also up here on the screen. So we're going to start with the magic ring and we're going to chain 1. And in the magic ring, we're going to make 8 single crochets. All right, so I have 8, and now I'm going to go ahead and join with the first stitch of the round with a slip stitch. All right, so this now ends round 1 and we're ready to begin round 2. We're going to begin round 2 with the chain 2. This chain 2 is going to count as our first double crochet half stitch of this first puff stitch. Next, we will yarn over, insert our hook into the same stitch, and draw up a loop, making sure to elongate this stitch by pulling up on our hook. Next, we'll yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, insert our hook into the same stitch and draw up a loop. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Repeat this process until you have 6 loops on your hook. Now I have 6 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on my hook. And that's my first puff stitch. We're going to end with a chain 2. So that was our first petal stitch, and it does differ slightly from the remaining petals. For our next petal, we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into the next stitch. Draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Repeat this process until there are 7 loops on your hook. So once we have 7 loops on our hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 7 loops on our hook. And then we will chain 2. And you're just going to do the same exact thing for all remaining petals. You're going to be repeating those puff stitch instructions until you have 7 loops on your hook. Then you'll yarn over, pull through all 7 loops, and chain 2. At the end of this round, you'll have 8 in total puff stitches. I'm working on my last puff stitch right now. Right, and I've just completed it. I'm chaining two. Just a reminder, it might look like you have one more stitch left, but remember that's just your slip stitch. And if you want to go ahead and just make sure you count your petals, you need to have 8 in order to move on. So once you have your 8 puff stitch petals, you're going to join the round by slip stitching into the first puff stitch of the round and then slip stitch into the next chain 2 space. We're now ready to cut our yarn, and this concludes round 2. We're now ready to begin round 3. Round 3 is going to be our granny square round, and it's going to turn this little flower into a square granny square. So if the center of your little flower got a little bit loose, go ahead and just tug on the tail from your magic ring to cinch that closed. You're going to go ahead and grab your contrasting color, and we're going to insert our hook into any chain 2 space between our petals, and we're going to make a slip knot with our contrasting color. Slide your slip knot onto your hook and pull to tighten. Pull your little knot through the little chain 2 space, and we're going to start with a chain 5. This chain 5 is going to count as a double crochet plus a chain 2. And we're going to partially work this first corner. We're going to start by making 3 double crochets into this same space. This is going to start this corner, and we're going to end this corner at the end of the round. All right, so we've just made 3 double crochets, and in our next chain space, we're going to make 3 half double crochets. So 3 half double crochets. Our next chain space will be another corner. We're going to make 3 double crochets into that next chain space. All right, I've got my 3 double crochets. I'm now going to make a chain 2, and I'm going to do 3 more double crochets into that same corner space. The next chain space is going to act as a straight edge space. So we're going to make 3 half double crochets. So in that same chain space, we're making 3 half double crochets. The next chain space, that's going to be another corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets followed by a chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. Okay, so I got my first 3 double crochets in there. We're doing a chain 2 and then 3 more double crochets into that same corner space. All right, and you probably guessed it, the next chain space, it's going to be another straight edge. So we're doing 3 half double crochets into that next chain space. Can you guess what's coming next? It's going to be another corner. So we're doing 3 double crochets, followed by another chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into that same corner space. So as you can see, we're really taking that circular flower and we're turning it into a square. Okay, I'm almost done with this corner. The next chain space is going to be another straight edge. So we're doing 3 half double crochets. All right, and as promised, at the end of this round, we're finishing this first corner. So we're gonna finish it by placing 2 double crochets into that first corner space, because remember that starting chain 5 counted as a double crochet plus a chain 2. So there's my first double crochet, and here's my second double crochet. Then that chain is going to count as a double crochet, and we're going to join with the third chain of our starting chain 5. So join with that chain, and now we're going to slip stitch into the next chain 2 space. We can cut our yarn and fasten off. So that completes the square. Isn't that cute? So now that we're done, we can go ahead and flip it over and we can weave in our ends. If you like, puff out the flowers, make sure they're all pretty and in order. So we're gonna grab our tails and our yarn needle. Pull tight on your starting center if you need to cinch that hole closed even more, and we're gonna weave that in first. So if you're holding your square, you can definitely see what direction your yarn wants to go. Just make sure you don't go in the opposite direction of that, or otherwise you'll undo your magic ring. So I'm just going around just one more time with this tail. And that'll really secure this end. Once that's weaved in, we're going to go ahead and clip our end. And now we can pick another tail to weave in. Let's pick this corner one. I'm going to go ahead and thread my yarn needle. And I'm just going to go ahead and insert my yarn needle into pieces of the stitches to get them down to the bottom of my double crochets of this corner. Okay, so once I've navigated down there, I'm just going to go back and forth with my tail in this same corner area. All right, and I think that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and clip my end. And I'm going to repeat for all remaining tails. So there you have it, the puff stitch flower granny square. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and would like to, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a new tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!